So tunnel vision, meeting point with a train, but there's none of the bad guys here yet. So let me just show you quite a fun way, an easier way to do tunnel vision. So what you're supposed to do is go down into this platform, and you can take these guys out through stealth like this. If you get your angles just right, obviously as usual they've got their classic cones of vision and some of them overlap and it can get a bit painful, but you don't have to do any of this at all, and I will show you how. So there we go, you can keep going down, and eventually, now I've tried to do this quite carefully many times to do it entirely in stealth, but eventually they notice and it kicks off a little bit. But as I say, don't actually need to do any of this bit whatsoever. So let me show you. It was an idea I had. Well, hold on, maybe I could approach this from an entirely different angle. I'll just go straight down to the other side of the train tunnel. So if you go here on the map, I'll show it. There you go. You can just drive into that meeting point. You don't need to go down through the station. And in fact, there's even a really weird thing. If you do go down on a motorbike, it basically disconnects your motorbike, so it won't be used. And normally this is the way out. Normally there's a bunch of guys down here waiting for you. But if I'm going in this way, look at that. No one here. There's guys here. There's normally a guy there on the right. And you sort of get dribs and drabs of them because basically the game is sort of glitching out. There we go. We've met our first bad guy. And this is the next station along. There we go. Bizarrely, and there's only one. Normally there's like 4 of them at this point. But yeah, I mean basically the game is not expecting me to go this way, and I was assuming it would just kind of fail me, or there'd be some kind of out of bounds thing, or yeah, I wasn't quite sure what to expect. And I think, yeah, here we go. This is the point where you meet those guys, and there's some bad guys that turn up or are waiting for you. But let me show you what happens now. If you go in this way, some very weird things happen. You're basically breaking the game, but you can still do the mission. There we go. Here's some of our guys. I'm still on there. You get a few. You don't get the guys at the top. They won't come down the stairs. There you go. The no red dots are up there. Anyway, here's the KnoWay train. And obviously what you're supposed to do is get on board and then hack the train, and that'll take you back to that area. But there we go. So I've decided to leave my vehicle here to clear the track, and then I'm going to use it later. There we go. Still got a couple of guys now who've starting to who are down here, so let's just get rid of them. Dum-dum-dum. That just shooting that. Look at that, the train just disappeared. It goes the other way, doesn't it? It goes the other way. So the train has just disappeared down the tunnel. And what am I supposed to do with that? I think what is happening is normally it's on the other side of the track. So if you have a little look, there's a loop here. So bizarrely, I think what might happen when you're going down into the train station is that it kind of does this loop, so it's on that side. But bizarrely, when I stepped into that zone, it just disappears. So when I first did this, I was like, well, hold on, what's happening? I've lost the train. And you do need to do the train, but you can't just disappear where I parked the car and wait for the next one. You've got to get on this train. So there you go, see, it does the loop. And now I can get back on it. I'm pretty sure it's the correct side now. So it's done the loop. Anyway, so let's just start it off. And the other thing that you can do on this, you can actually just jump off the train if you want to. You can just step out. Once you've started it, you can just jump out, which was my idea for leaving my car there up the tunnel. And obviously it's a vigilante auto-targeting missiles. The thing is awesome as any. People who watch my channel will know it is my favourite vehicle in the game. Arguably a Sparrow might be close, but anyway. So there we go. So you're supposed to get to the ambush point, and at this point, some of those guys start spawning in further down. And look, bizarrely, yes, I was on the wrong side. Can you see I'm going the wrong way? Normally it takes you the other way. Oh dear, I don't know what's happening with this. Anyway, now I just have to go back in that big loop. through the station again. This is where it was before, wasn't it? Yeah, this is where it was when I started. So we've done we've gone the scenic route, so I don't know what quite has triggered that. And then let's go. Let's see what is available now. And obviously I've got my all-conquering Vigilante waiting for me down the tracks, so we can just plan escape from there. And like I say, you can't, there's no way that I've seen to avoid doing this train, but you have to do this train bit. But anyway, if you've done these RV missions a few times, it is quite fun to do it in a different way. And with the Vigilante, I mean, it just makes it so easy. Right, so I'm going to get into my car. Actually, in hindsight, I should have parked it a bit nearer. So we're going to get some guys coming in. There we go, here's our second train. There we go, and they'll start firing you. And as I'll show with the video, there we go, everyone's started spawning in now, very bizarrely, out of nowhere. And you don't actually need to go into that train, you can just blow it up underneath, and that'll get rid of the guys. There we go, all taken care of. So I was going to pick up the briefcase, and normally if you stay on this train, it will go to that second station that I showed at the start. There we go, pick up the bag, you go to that second station it showed at the start. There you go, these other guys just spawned in now. And then it will stop at that second station, you've got to escape, or you can pick up the motorbike. But you don't need to do any of that with this. So now, I could just boost my way through, but let's just take out some of these guys as I go through. Vigilante does have some limitations on missiles. I think it's 20, is it 20? Should watch one of my own videos that explains that, but it's around that. It's enough to get through here. You can just see some of the guys. None of these guys were here when I came through the other way. Now they're all just emerging. But anyway, the Vigilante, I have got 100% armor on that. It's not indestructible, unfortunately. Otherwise, it'd be too good a vehicle, or not like like some of the super armored vehicles. But it's plenty for this. And yeah, if I'd taken any damage at all. He says while stopping. Okay. Where did all you guys come from? There we go. And then all you have to do, like I say, you're not vulnerable on a motorbike. You're not doing it on foot. You're not trying to go back. You can go back up through the other way, but that's a lot of running. And here we've got a vehicle just to escape like that. And there we are, back to the original point. And in fact, those guys spawning in that normally chase you, they were too far away anyway to complete it. There we go, indestructible car. It's a bizarre glitch where you can just take out the boot of it. You get this very weird animation. But anyway, give that a try. Give that a try. I think that's probably the easiest way to do this. You don't really need a Vigilante, but it helps.